Hi, you see this fireplace behind me? That thing runs on gas, and every time I try and light it with a match, there's always this race against the clock to where I can get it lit, but also I have to keep my hand just far enough away. So there's this nerve-wracking moment where I'm sweating it out with a match, trying to play tag with the gas as it's coming out, and then finally, with all this tension built up, it just goes, and as soon as it does, I go. Welcome to Rumble Book Club. I'm your host, Mike Hernandez, and this is the show where a normal guy like me can talk about interesting books I've read, old and new, good and bad. So if you like the show, you like the content, maybe you like the distant sound of children screaming because my house is an insane asylum, you can follow me on Twitter, Parler, and TikTok, or you can subscribe right down below on YouTube and Rumble. But more importantly, be a part of the conversation. Share these videos with your friends, help our channel grow so we can discuss more books, add more to our list, and grow our book reading family. And also comment also down below. Let me know if there's any books you want me to cover, and I might even add it to the list and give you a shout out for pointing me in the direction of an awesome book. Today we're going to take a look at an awesome book that I read probably a little less than a year ago. And I'm actually surprised I haven't done a video of it up till now, but I'm glad I get the chance to today. Today we're going to take a look at Intellectuals and Society by Dr. Thomas Sowell. I love doing videos about Dr. Thomas Sowell. Dr. Thomas Sowell is a renowned economist and a fellow at the Hoover Institute at Stanford University. He's taught at prestigious colleges such as Cornell, UCLA, Amherst, and has been one of the greatest minds of our age, bar none. So this book in particular is a close study of how those who call themselves intellectuals or frame themselves as intellectuals, as well as their arms of enforcement, have done more damage to society than they've actually benefited society. Now let's get into our three-part criteria of the book. As you know, our three-part criteria involves the aesthetics, how it looks, how it feels, the readability, how it reads for just a normal person, and not just intellectually, but also physically, and then finally the content, judging it simply on the criteria between the pages. So let's take a look at the aesthetics. So this is where you can really tell how boring I am. This is my idea of what a perfect cover is. It's simple, it's boring, I love it. It's a jet black cover with a stark white title and author. This is my kind of book right here. Because you don't need this crazy explosion of color, this amazing, pow kind of cover to pop off the shelf. This alone stood off the shelf to me. As far as the aesthetics go, it's a perfect score, 10 out of 10. So let's take a look at the readability. It looks really daunting due to its size. This is why I can't write the script. But it's not just approachable, but it's easy to understand even for the common reader, the common idiot like me. Sowell is concise and clear in his definitions and terms, which makes his writing very definitive. Each subject and historical topic is studied intensely, but not too long to the point to where the reader loses interest. The connection of each chapter to the broader theme of the book is stated very clearly without being overspoken, but he also adds a bit of his characteristic wit and humor, which makes for a much smoother ride when you're reading it. Also typical of a Thomas Sowell book, you've got, on the physical side, off-white pages with clear, large text, good paragraph breaks, good size margins. Perfect. So as for the readability, another perfect score, typical of Thomas Sowell, 10 out of 10. Now let's get into the content. So very helpfully, Sowell starts by defining what an intellectual is so that we're clear on who exactly he's talking about when he says intelligentsia or the intellectuals. He describes an intellectual as someone whose entire line of work, whose sole purpose involves the creation or output of ideas and nothing else, while also being separated from those consequences of these ideas when they're put into action. He also defines the willing allies of the intelligentsia as those who take the talking points of the intellectuals and vet them according to their own personal bias, and then report and repeat the talking points until the general public has trouble seeing the issue in any other way except that which is declared by the intelligentsia. One of the most notable arms of enforcement for the intelligentsia is the media. He talks about how the language that we use has been softened by intellectuals and their allies to make hard facts appear less real. This started at the academic level, and then it was worked into the multiple classes year after year. It worked its way into the media. It was pushed by legislators. So these changing and softenings of the terms didn't change the harsh realities for normal people living in the real world on the ground who actually had to suffer the consequences of these ideas. All it did was change the way it was viewed by the upper echelon. He also writes about the part that the intelligentsia played in both world wars. On one side, from pushing the war narrative to provoke the world into the First World War. At that time, there was relative peace. We had been in an era of decades of relative peace, and yet the intelligentsia just got it into its head that we should be showing our might and how great we are, and we should create. They originated this whole nation-building scheme that led to World War I. It was after all the devastation of their ideas put into action through World War I that they became gun-shy. They saw the devastation. They saw that World War I ripped the world apart in some of the most severe and horrid ways. And from that point, they took the complete opposite bent leading up to World War II. They wanted to scale back our military. They wanted to appease all of Hitler's wishes and not provide any pushback from the side of France, from the side of Britain, to the point to where Hitler was able to take bit after bit after bit, solidifying his military, making World War II all but an inevitability. He adds that one of the worst recent additions of intellectuals in the world today has been in the form of race relations, as professors and academics push racial disparities as proof of discrimination, with no concrete and comparable data to support it. This narrative was taken and run with by the media and legislators who create not only more racial animosity than ever in the past 20 years, but also have done absolutely nothing for the common people who were supposed to be the beneficiaries of these causes. You would have legislators and academics that flaunt how they're helping the little man, helping the POC, the people of color, and yet those people are actually the ones that get hurt the most by these policies, such as defund the police and softening of the language. Sowell is masterful in his presentation, alignment of facts, and statistical analysis. As for the content, perfect score, 10 out of 10. So I actually had to resort to online sources in order to get this book. I found this book on Amazon. It is actually pretty challenging to find a Thomas Sowell book in stores, with the exception of maybe charter schools and their enemies and basic economics. Also the Thomas Sowell Reader. Those three tend to have more recent printings that get put into conventional stores, but for the most part, you will have to do a bit of online shopping or secondhand searching, such as Half Price Books or your local budget bookstore. I recommend this book to anybody. Trust me, even though it is kind of a hefty read, it is definitely a worthwhile read. It should be on everyone's bookshelf. The book is Intellectuals in Society by Thomas Sowell. Go out and get yourself a copy. Thanks for watching, everybody, and go read something.